Well, good morning, folks. After my joyful experience yesterday of running over the wall, I decided I'm going to get back in here and fix my brakes. And the first thing to do is to do the wheel cylinders. Guess it helps if I have air. Good enough. Now the next thing is getting to that old funky cylinder there. I'll hook me up some lights and get my tools out here to get in there. Now this is pretty straightforward. I'm going to film it anyway. But to take these brake shoe springs off, I just use a pair of pliers or a special tool for it, but you don't need it. And I try to keep my brake stuff separated side to side. Alright, so that fell off, and now I can get in there to this wheel cylinder and pull this one boot off. Looks like it's got a little fluid leaking out of it, and I can see gunk in there. I don't know if this is gonna zoom in or focus, but you can see the gunk in it right there. So probably this leaked. Judging from the rust on the wheel cylinder here, this was actually a replaced cylinder, but I had a lot of fluid here in the boot. So anyway, I'm just gonna take that apart and run a cylinder hone through it. Let me give me a pan to catch all my fluid here. Well, the thing is moving a little bit, so it's not froze up. Oh yeah, it'll come out pretty easy. Back to spring, I just popped the rest of that one out. Get this oven here out. Yep. Come right out, no problem. So I'm just going to run a hone in there and clean it up a little and kind of clean the whole drum and everything up. Well, the hone I have wouldn't even go in it. So I just got some 220 sandpaper here in a roll. I'm just doing it with my fingers. Yeah, that was fine. So there wasn't any dirt on the inside. It was just here on the outside, past where the rubber was. And then I'll just squirt a little brake cleaner in it and Run this rag through here just to clean it up. Yeah, looking in it, it looks brand new.
And you wouldn't happen to have any WD-40, would you?
Yeah.
I'll borrow a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that throttle.
Well, I got that in. It was real easy. I'm just going to wire brush these mounting surfaces. Well, I got the wheel done. I didn't even take the other one off. That one looked pretty good, and it was rolling. Obviously rolled to run into my wall. Fix my gas can here so the hose won't fall out. Put a little piece of wood under my battery so it'll be pretty stable. I jacked it up and put it on jack stands. And my goal here is to I put some water in it, and it's got a little leak right near the top. It's slowing down already. That's a Chrysler radiator. I'm bound to find something around here that's pretty good, but at least I got water in it, and I should be able to run it until it gets hot, and give me an opportunity to play with that transmission and shifter and stuff, and we'll just try to run it. And I'm assuming it'll start like it did the other day. Give me a couple pumps here. Shifted in all 3 gears forward. This wheel's still kind of stuck for some reason. Did move, but boy, it's tight. So let's see if it was oil in. I should have oil running out. If it did, the oil light went off. Radiator's making some noise. leaking water. And it looks like it was, the fan was sucking through onto the motor. I have no idea if that thermostat's plugged up or what. That funny noise I heard is just water dripping. I don't think it built up any pressure yet. No, it's still cold. I'm going to pull that valve cover off there. See if I can see it was oiling. I know it's got oil pressure because the light went out as soon as it started. And I did see some evidence of oil the other day. But anyway, I'm going to pull it off and take a look. Well, it's definitely oiling on all of the rockers. So, and something, I suppose. I thought it did when the oil light went out. But look inside here, inside this pan, man, it's just really gummed up. Probably the whole inside of that motor looks like that. It's just many years, there's no change in the oil, and the head is probably just as bad as the valve cover. All I could do about that is put some kind of motor flush and new oil and scrape all the crap out of the valve covers. And it's just going to take a lot of oil changes to ever clean this thing up, if it ever does clean up. But it don't seem to be missing. I can hear a little miss in it there, but you know, most likely these plugs have seen better days. I know it's set for 20 years. The plates expired about 20 years, so, and there's no telling how long this motor ran before or what it was out of, but somebody sure didn't change oil on it. Well, I'm going to clean this valve cover up a little bit, at least scrape some of the gunk out, put it back on, and put some bolts in it so don't pour oil all over the motor. Let it run longer and see if I can get it hot and see what happens. Well, let's fire it up again. Let it run longer. Well, it's running better. The thermostat did open, and got quite a bit of gunk in it. Of course, I probably put some kind of cleaner in there. I hate to do that as long as it's still leaking. Probably got so much rust, the rust will stop the leak. But the temperature gauge is not working at all. I'm not surprised about that because I didn't ever really finish wiring up that ignition switch, so I haven't checked any of this stuff. And it could be, I don't know, a lot of the different cars, Fords in particular, have voltage. Little resistor in there, it reduces the voltage. And that could be why it's not working, but I think it's probably because I don't have any of them wires hooked up. But we'll see. At least it's running pretty good. Looks like it's dying out and coughing and stuff. I don't know if that's carburetor or most likely plugs, and bad wires, and God knows everything, you know. And the reason it really wasn't shifting right is the fluid's not even on the stick. So need some transmission fluid, oil and filter, and I'll put a can of Seafoam in the oil, and hopefully that'll clean up some of this stuff. At least it's alive and running, and thermostat opens, and don't know if it's charging yet. I should have checked the voltage on that. I guess I could do that right now just to ease my mind. Well, it fired up real easy. 12 volts. According to that, it's not charging. But again, I don't even know if I got power down into this thing, or if this, I think that's an old generator. I don't know if wires are disconnected or they're even hooked up back here. I'm gonna do a real quick check on that, and if there's anything obvious, I'll fix it. Try to do it again, but I think that probably what I'll do is just forget that old generator and put some kind of a new one-wire alternator on it. Anyway, I'm going to look around there and see if I can find something. Well, looks like the wire's got something going to them. Ground is good. Got a mess here, and Probably a rusty connection there. I'll pull that apart. Check. It'll take me a little doing here. I'll bring you back once I figure out what's going on. Well, I cleaned it up good. I'm going to start it and jump the field straight line. Charging 13.6 for the field jump. Charging with it off. Looks like a little cleaning fixed that. Well, it looks like cleaning up the terminals and jumping it to the field, fix that. It's charging 14 volts, that's kind of high, but that's a story for another day. At least it's charging, means I don't have to buy nothing. So more and more, everything looking good. Yeah, it's charging, it's got oil pressure. The missing is almost quit in it. I talked to a guy that knew the guy that had this truck, and he says, oh yeah, it used to run good. So I can believe him now. I mean, it's got a lot of miles with no maintenance, but I can do the best I can on that. At least it's a good solid running driving truck. I noticed there was a lot of play in the front end. The steering here is turning not really too bad. I could probably take a lot of that out with the steering box, but yeah, I think I can knock this pretty straight. Clean up that bed. Looks a little better now. It's dry. Little, not much. Just knock it all down and weld up and fix the dents. Throw a coat of primer on it. Clean up that motor and stuff. And I think this one will be a project for the road. I don't know what's going to happen with this radiator. Obviously there's going to be a lot of rust in it. This is not a hard place to fix it all right there. I can just cut the fins away from where that radiator was crushed, and that's what it looks like. Looks like something hit it. And it looks like down there they've patched it with something else. But this radiator is plenty big enough for this motor. And I could always probably find another one. we'll see. I'll try to patch it and see if it's plugged up, if it's running good, if it's cooling, if it overheats. I'm gonna have to redo something about that motor mount. But basically I think it's a pretty good project. This other rear tire spun real easy. This one's still kind of funky and locked up. I don't know. I don't think the emergency brake stuck on it, but I did have a little trouble turning it before. Seemed to turn okay backwards but not forward. And when I put it in gear, this one's whistling right along, and the speedometer works. I can see it shift all 3 gears. So just keep pressing on. And I'm going to have to weld something on here, a bar or something that, you know, this thing, I don't know exactly how they latch, but it's got like a pin in it, and that latches down and flips over. I'll figure that out. Then I found one taillight lens. I ordered it, and a few dents, not too bad. And this door one, that shouldn't be too much trouble to knock it out. I didn't think I had both mirrors, but it's got both mirrors on it. I don't know if those are the stock ones, but it doesn't make any difference. At least it's got 2 mirrors. So, Mr. Ford F100 looks like it's going to be a pretty reliable car and not a hell of a lot of work.